Hi, I'm Beth and I'm taking you behind the future.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Future. I have the wonderful Daisy joining me today as my co-host. Daisy, tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm in year 12 and I'm studying English history and politics and I'm kind of thinking of pursuing law later.
Oh, very interesting. Well, let's see what we can learn today
Yeah.
that might help your future direction. And then we have the wonderful Beth joining us. Beth, tell us who you are and where you work.
Hi, so I'm Beth and I am an affiliate development manager at Holiday Extras.
Fantastic. This sounds very interesting. I'm going to hand over to Daisy for our first question.
How would you describe your job in one sentence and what is a typical day like?
Okay, in one sentence, it is chaotically exciting and fun.
Nice. Sounds good.
And my typical day is so different every day. I can be like really deep in data and performance one day and the next day I'm like schmoozing partners. So it's a really varied industry to work in for sure.
Tell us a bit more about them. What does so I've got a feel for it's chaos and fun and busy and moving between data and people, but how does your job work within the company? What do you do for the company, as it were?
Yeah, so my role sits within the partnerships team primarily, but we are definitely a performance marketing channel. So what we look at every day is we're building relationships between the company and affiliates. And affiliates essentially are companies that sell our product on our behalf. That's the easiest way to describe it. So I deal with the relationships between us and them and essentially how they're going to promote us, what they're going to promote for us, what the performance looks like, and that kind of relationship piece in between as well. So affiliates can be from content partners like newspapers, for example.
Yep.
So like this, I work with The Sun, The Times, but they can be things like traditional loyalty. If you've got an employee benefit program here, it's likely that there'll be an affiliate manager behind the scenes working with that, building all of the deals behind that. And so it's really varied, and the types of loyalty and the types of employee benefit and affiliate can be so varied from one partner to another.
Amazing. How did you get into that? And did you know when you were 16, 17-year-old that was even a job?
No.
No.
I had no idea. So I fell into affiliate marketing for sure. So I left school, went to university, and stayed for 2 years and left halfway through year 2. So I dropped out of university.
And what were you studying?
I started in events management, moved to marketing. I worked as a waitress in wedding venues at sixth form part-time. So I thought, I'll just be an events manager. I'll manage weddings. I hated working as a waitress, by the way, at events management. And then I was like, I have to change my mind. I'm going to work in marketing. Left university. I just didn't like the routine of it. You had a seminar at 9 a.m, which I hardly go to, and a lecture at 5 p.m, and nothing in between. It just didn't work well for me. So I left university and didn't really have much of a plan. I did some odd jobs here and there. I fell into a part-time role as a travel agent at TUI, so working in sales, and again managed to get a full-time job there, and decided I didn't like working on the weekends. And I was like, this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to be working on... I'd always had in my head that I was going to have a career in something, like my goal was a career. That was all I knew that I wanted to do when I was 16, 17. I was like, this is not giving me the career that I want. And so I had actually been marketed to by an agency called Sleeping Giant Media. I'd seen that they had a ball pit, they had a bar, their offices looked so much fun, and I was like, that's where I want to work. And so I didn't know about SEO and PPC. I had no idea what it was. And I saw they were looking for employees, like very basic, no experience. They just were hiring essentially personality and drive. And they had a job come up that was a pay cut. The pay was awful. Fresh out of, a really, really junior role. And I was like, I'll just give it a go. And I applied for it, went in for an interview, and got the job.
Brilliant.
I remember researching what SEO and PPC was before I was going into the job. I was like, I need to know what SEO and PPC is to get this job. And I was interviewed by Masood in Forbes at the time, and he was like, well, what is SEO and PPC? And I fumbled around the question. He went, yeah, companies need SEO and PPC, but what is it? And I rehearsed, and I said it. I was like, thank God I remembered what it was, because I literally had no idea what it was. So managed to get the job, and the rest is really history. I moved from SEO and PPC agency wise into an in-house role in something called MetaSearch for TUI, and that what MetaSearch is essentially, it's a bidding system, so it works very similar to PPC, where you have live aggregation, so an API integration from TUI's product, so their flight product, their hotel product, their package product, and it essentially the meta search manager manages that relationship again onto platforms like Skyscanner or TripAdvisor or Trivago. So any of that live pricing that you see on those travel aggregation sites, a meta search manager will manage that. So again, I had no idea what meta search was.
No.
But I knew I wanted to work at TUI, and I knew I wanted to work in head office and wanted to work Monday to Friday. So I figured out what meta search was, used my bidding experience from PPC, because it is an auction meta search, and managed to fumble my way into a meta search exec role. And meta search sits really closely to affiliate marketing because it's partnership led. So I was managing partnerships with Skyscanner, TripAdvisor, Trivago, Google Hotels. I managed to get a promotion internally at TUI into the affiliate team because of that partnership experience. And then decided to come a bit closer to home. TUI are in Luton, so it was a long way for me. But Holiday Extras are just around the corner. So decided to go back and work in the affiliate team as affiliate manager at Holiday Extras.
Wow, that's a whistle stop of some really interesting different, and I feel like we can go and pick some of that apart.
Yeah, so you said you dropped out of uni, so what skills do you think are worth more than like a degree or a grade?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. I think university, how I feel university is beneficial to people is that, real lawyers, doctors, that need the qualification to do the role. But in terms of life experience, I didn't get time management skills from university. Actually, I probably regressed more into being lazy and, not functioning as a human being who does in the modern world. And the skills that I found that I've had outside of that is people skills massively. You're working in sales, working with affiliates, you're dealing with so many different personalities every day, and you just don't get that kind of skill at university when you're kind of all amongst yourselves as 18-year-olds. So, really getting out your comfort zone and learning how to talk to people and how to adapt that conversation depending on the type of person you're talking to is invaluable. The time management, the drive, determination, I had to figure out what meta search was. I had to figure out what SEO and PPC was. There was a lot of self development that you have to do to be able to understand all of these different elements of the working world and get to where you need to get to. And I just wasn't getting that kind of skill at university. I had a great time the year and a half I was there. But it just wasn't building a career that I was interested in at the time.
And did you have support from your family in the decision, or was that tricky?
Yeah, I think they're I'm very resourceful, and I've got my heart set on something, this is what I'm doing. There is no talking me out of it. I wanted to go to university, so I got myself there. That was my goal, was to get to university. And I did it, and I got there, and then it was actually no, I don't want to go to university anymore. I want to get, and my parents and my family, they're very much she's got a plan before we even know about it. And I did. I had a plan of getting myself home. I had a job lined up, and there's no time for them to have any doubt, really.
Love that. That's a good approach, though. That's a good lesson. So in managing parents, family, guardians, have a plan, because 100%. I suppose if you just go to them with I want to drop out of uni, that's quite a bombshell to land when it's so what are you going to do? Oh, I haven't worked that bit out yet, so have a plan. So this is nice.
Exactly.
Some good advice.
And I think that's a great learning for everything, not coming to your manager with a huge problem, try and have a solution as quick, as much of a solution as you can. Definitely like help sort of, you're already 4 steps ahead then.
Exactly. Yeah. Always. Yeah. Bring me solutions, not problems.
Exactly.
I've definitely caught myself saying that before.
Kind of to go back with the whole like school doesn't teach you like life skills, and I like agree with that, because in school I don't learn anything. Like outside of school I'm in a band, so I talk to a lot of like other bands, but you're not taught in school how to like communicate with other people necessarily. You're taught like this is how you portray your thoughts in like an essay, but never like in person or on like a like Instagram DM, I guess. It's like you learn things outside of school, even though they say school is like your learning point.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Yeah. Because I do think you do... There's certain things you learn, but I think we've said it many times on this podcast that there's a lot of what you learn in school you'll never use again, but it was the process of learning that was the learning, as opposed to the what you learn. Like you don't need to remember how to measure the inside of a triangle unless you're going into some kind of job where you need to measure the inside of triangles. And I'm not quite sure what, I guess builders when they're like planning things out, and architects but I've never needed to measure the inside of a triangle since good old Pythagoras, but it's the method of learning, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I look back on my school years really fondly, and like you say, I don't remember really anything that I learnt there, but it is valuable in ways, you're getting up in the morning, you're going somewhere 5 times a week. So there's a lot of important bits there, but I think, making sure that it's not your only environment where you're learning and developing as a teenager is really important.
Yeah. What do you play in the band? Or
I play
sing?
bass guitar.
Bass guitar. Very
What genre?
cool.
Like kind of like rock.
Fun. That's cool.
Oh, do you play locally?
More in Medway, because the music scene in Medway is bigger.
Okay, well, I might have to come check you out at some point. It sounds good. But again, that's like some performing and the skills around like getting a gig booked so that you can get paid to go and play music and things like that. Those are all amazing skills that actually, I'm guessing you and your bandmates you have to learn.
Yeah, it's kind of like when they just reach out to you, just got to go, yeah, okay. And then you just kind of hope that they tell you more, or you do have to ask and be like, we don't have this equipment because we're still like kids. Is there another option? You do end up relying on a lot of the other bands you play with and the venues before you like start making enough money. Because a lot of the bands we play with are like adults. They have their own money to spend on their equipment, but we're still like kids. We don't have jobs or anything. So like equipment is quite hard to come by because music's really expensive.
Yeah. But amazing that the other bands help you out. And
they're the best,
That also teaches you something about networking, doesn't it? And partnerships. And because again, I guess when you got into this, that kind of like, no one teaches you at school what a partnership is and how do I build a partner. And but again, you've kind of naturally learned, but suddenly you're in a role where that's the biggest part of your job is building these partnerships.
Yeah, absolutely. Like networking and partnerships is so valuable, like professionally and personally. Like, even down to someone I met in the pub has helped me build a fence, and give me a great price for it. Like negotiation and networking is so valuable, and making sure that you're standing up for yourself and you're getting what's right for you. Yeah, getting paid fairly, for example, when you're playing, is really important. So it's a hugely important skill to have for everybody.
Definitely. And when you transitioned into affiliates, did you get any training around that, or did you just have to learn as you go and work out because again, a partnership is just that you both got to be winning, like it's got to be good on both sides, so it's like learning those skills of how do I negotiate but make sure we're both doing well here. And
absolutely. And it was honestly moving from Sleeping Giant Media to TUI was the biggest culture shock I've ever had, because I was a senior exec at Sleeping Giant Media moving into management. And then the role at TUI was a few £1,000s more, and it was an exec role. So I was like, brilliant, I'm getting more money, less responsibility. And I get there, and honestly, I was like, I am not qualified for this job at all. The moving from, in my experience, agency to an in-house role, like the responsibility is so vastly different in terms of what level you are at one versus what level you are. The responsibility I had at TUI was miles apart from the responsibility I had at agency. And I think that's largely because at agency you're looking after 20 partners, 20 clients, and so you have 4 or 5 hours a month sometimes for each of those. And in-house, that business is your sole responsibility.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're end-to-end managing your channel and what you're looking after. So I didn't have it. It was a real like sink or swim moment for me, like moving to TUI. Like I just got to like crack on with this and figure it out. Because there wasn't any training. There was you can do this bidding. You've managed clients. You've got the core skills there. Like now it's time to like build on them. And you're dealing with scary brands. When you hear brands like Skyscanner and Trivago and Google, it's like, that's terrifying. They are big brands.
It's a proper business.
It's a proper business, and I'm responsible for this. So yeah, it was and I'd had some great skills at Sleeping Giant Media, like managing those clients, managing those relationships, dealing internally with different stakeholders. I'd also worked through COVID. I wasn't furloughed at all, so that was a real learning curve for me at Sleeping Giant Media. That I'd just been able to kind of translate those skills into ways that would be successful at TUI, and it's I'm still learning. I'm like mile 5 of a 26-mile marathon. It takes a long time.
Do you think your boss, when you started at TUI, realised that you were in this sink or swim moment, or do you think they were like, no, she's got this, because you gave them the confidence, but actually you were like inside feeling terrified?
I think it was a big learning curve for me of like how I expressed like discomfort in a role, for sure, because they knew that I was maybe in a little bit too deep initially, but I was too proud to, maybe give that feedback that this is quite a lot for me, like this is all really new for me. And actually, I've been in every role that I've been in, the first 6 months, I'm like, I'm in too deep here. Like, this is really difficult. And you learn to realise and understand that the first 6 months of a job, nobody knows what they're doing, whether you're an exec or you're a director of a company. The first 6 months, you just have no idea. Like, you're really finding your feet. And being able to give that being brave enough to give that feedback to your manager has helped me significantly. Now you get so much more out of it, and because then there's just that disconnect there. The disconnect that I had with my manager at TUI was because I didn't give the feedback that I was feeling out a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I've learned to do that now, and the feedback you get is so much better than just everyone kind of being like, is she okay? She's saying she's okay, but really she's not.
And do you think that's all on you, or is it also a bit about the space that the manager creates for you? Because I do think, I don't know, I'm not going to bias the answer.
I completely agree with you, I think. And you get that working in different types of companies, and that is all trickles down from the top, doesn't it? And like how, you're expected to come in and know what you're doing, and that's not always the case. And that is a management thing and a people management thing. And I've had great managers. I've never had any terrible managers, but I've had different management styles. And I think sometimes there's people that just want you to kind of get on with it, and people that like a little bit more coddle you, and there's finding that balance in between, like letting people sort of try and fly on their own, but equally providing that space to
show them how the wings work first.
100%.
Otherwise it's like, oh, is she going to make it? And that's not a nice feeling, is it?
No.
It's hard. Were there moments where you were like, oh, have I made the wrong decision here? Or did you always feel, I will work this out, it's just going to take me time?
Definitely moments where I was like, this just feels a lot. And I think as well, I love agency. I do. I think it was one of the best work experiences of my life, working in agency. But it was a very comfortable environment for me. There was a lot of great relationships there, and everyone really looked after you. And, in some businesses, you're not lucky enough to have that, where it is a little bit more, less of an agency family vibe and more of this is a corporate operation, like we're working here for a shared goal, and less of the fluff. And I think trying to understand that you can get both edges of that sword is important.
Yeah. Yeah, because too much of either is pretty dangerous. Ideally, you want to find the middle.
Exactly.
The middle.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it is interesting, I think, as you start to think about going into your first job, that I do remember moments like you're describing where you're like, and you end up with the Sunday scaries of, I don't want to go to work tomorrow because I don't know what I'm doing. And, they'll find out eventually. But it all works out. Like, no one finds out because there's not anything to find out. Like, it's pretty natural and normal.
Yeah. And one of the things that my manager at TUI said to me, and she was really talented. I learned so much from her. She was just one of the most talented people I've actually ever worked with. Her, like, work drive was fantastic. And she said to me, people aren't lazy. People either don't have the resource to do the job or they don't understand the job.
Yeah.
And like that was really comforting to me to then be able to give that feedback to her that, like, you're right, like I don't really have the time or the understanding of like what's going on here. So like I think people don't leave businesses, they leave managers. So, you know, making sure you have that, and again, that's that networking and relationship tool of building a strong relationship with your manager in like whatever industry you're working in.
Yeah, and I guess like if we liken it back to school, I bet there's teachers you like and teachers you don't like so much. Like we don't have to name them because they might be listening. But we're not going to like everybody.
No,
we don't. And just because you like or don't like them shouldn't necessarily change whether you can work with them or not.
Yeah.
But it's then learning their style, learning your style with their style, because that might be different to somebody else's. And there's a lot of kind of psychology and human behaviour that goes on here.
Just about like going in the deep end, like how it's been at the beginning of like A levels. It's like a huge step up from GCSE, and we just had mocks, and I was thinking like there's no way I'm gonna get like a decent grade at all, because like I've only been doing this like a couple months and the content's so much more, but like it was fine, and like I've got out of it and I'm like getting some grades back and I'm doing well. But it was just that like horrible, like I'm not qualified for this because I've only been doing it a couple months, and it's like I was just like dreading every exam.
Yeah.
Staring at a blank screen trying to figure out what happens after school or college, university, apprenticeships, T-levels, it's a lot to take in. But what if you could speak directly to the people who are actually hiring? NAS Events brings you events like the National Apprenticeship Show, London School and College Leavers Show, and many more. They run the UK's top career events designed specifically for students aged 15 and up. These aren't just your boring careers fairs, we're talking interactive hands-on experiences where you can meet the country's biggest employers and top universities face to face. Whether you're looking for an entry-level role, a degree apprenticeship, or a pathway into higher education, this is a regional show near you. From London and Bristol to Scotland and Newcastle. The best part, it's completely free to attend. Don't just scroll through job descriptions, come and try out new skills, get expert advice, and find career paths that actually fit you. Ready to take the next step? Head over to nasevents.co.uk to find the nearest event and register for your free place today.
I think it's we all have a negativity bias. We're much more likely to think we're not going to do so well. Like there's a few people that are on the other side and are like, I'm brilliant, I'll be great. But most of us go, I don't know.
Yeah.
And we've got a bit of imposter syndrome and we err towards negativity bias. So actually it's how you can be aware of that and cope with that and get past it and go, no, I can do this. I will get good at this job, but I just need a bit of time.
Exactly. And it all comes from a place of wanting to do a good job. Like you just want to show up the best version of yourself. So it's actually good to feel like that, to feel like, this feels overwhelming because it means you care about what you're doing. And you've chosen some really hard A levels.
I know.
I did politics. I did government and politics at A levels for like 3 weeks. I was like, no thanks.
No, I did the same, and I ditched it. I can't remember what I switched it for, but I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
sounds good to know about politics, but no, thank you.
I know.
I was not there.
No, and I have a twin brother, and he did government and politics, so it's just me trying to show off.
Oh, I love it. Oh, have you gone very different career paths? Are you similar or?
No, so he's a sergeant in the police.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so completely different. He went to university. He actually did an extra year at sixth form than me. So I did 2 years and he stayed for an extra year because he needed to get a C in maths. He really struggled to get a C in maths. And then he went to university for policing. He knew he wanted to be a police officer, like from sixth form he knew he wanted to be a police officer, and joined the special force, so like the voluntary service for the police, got his role in the police, and he's been in the police his entire career. And so we're so vastly different, because I was just, to be honest, out having a great time as a 17, 18-year-old, and he was hell-bent on becoming a police officer.
It's interesting, isn't it, how some people do just, they know, and I'm guessing he loves it.
Yeah, he does. He does. And, we had exactly the same upbringing, like the same mum and dad. So we were in every single class together at the same schools. And so I think it's important to recognise that two people will never have the same path, regardless of, even if you grow up in exactly the same environment, people will take two different paths.
Yeah, and that's okay, and you just go with it. See where it takes you. Yeah. Follow the flow.
Exactly.
And so your job today is a mixture of, you said, kind of the performance side, so very data strong, and needing that, as well as then the human side of building the relationships, and I guess the relationships, do they then influence the performance? Like, how does it all work?
Yeah, so Affiliates is a performance marketing channel, but it's kind of like the left out cousin. It sort of sits, no one completely understands.
I mean, I run a digital agency, and I still feel like it's a black box that I don't really understand. So I'm looking forward to learning more. Like,
we
get my notepad. Tell us more.
It sits in performance marketing. Largely data and performance driven. Like that, our goal is bottom funnel conversion. Like just like SEO and PPC. Like that's where we want our business to sit. Largely, affiliate managers affiliate partners will hate me for saying that, because a lot of them are like, we're upper funnel. Well, you need upper funnel partners, but generally speaking, affiliates is low funnel conversion. So we deal with the performance data side of things. We work on networks typically. So there's like a middleman platform between us and the partners to manage, because we're paying commissions. Yeah. So to manage all of those transactions, that data, and it feeds in quite a messy way internally. And I've never seen an affiliate channel that's tidy ever. And then from a partnerships perspective, we're dealing with those relationships like daily, negotiating exposure. So I'll use employee benefit as an example. We're listed on an employee benefit site where we have a discount for employees, and that employee benefit site sits in businesses like Reflect, for example, and you can go in and get your discounts through there. But there'll be extra things. You might get sent an email from your employee benefit provider saying like, this is a great discount this week. That's called exposure, and you pay for it from a tenancy perspective, or you inflate the CPA, or if you're really good at negotiating, you just get it for free. And so it's managing that relationship to get as much extra exposure as you can to get in front of the actual customer that's going to be seeing your offer and seeing your discount. So my day-to-day looks like managing making sure we've got plenty of exposure, managing that we're getting it for as little money as possible, if any money, and then ensuring that is working, and what that looks like from a data and performance perspective. And we have a lot less control, obviously, than SEO and PPC, that we're not directly dealing with the website. We don't know that website is performing well, or how many users that website might be generating. So it's the relationship side of it is so important, because we've got to understand. So you've got to have good rapport with these partners to understand like why things aren't great, why things aren't great, to really get the most out of it. So the negotiation is so important in the direct performance as well.
And what have you learned about negotiation over the years? Like what? Because it's a technique that's it's useful to, I don't know, get some extra pocket money, or to get to be allowed to stay up later, or whatever it might be from a home life. It's important in getting the right package in a job that you go for, and it's important in a job like yours. What have you learned about negotiation?
So I think that good cop is always best. Be their friend, be their best friend, and try and come at it as tailored to that personality as possible. So being able to recognise the type of conversation you're having and what that type of person is, and really trying to understand personalities as much as possible to be able to adapt how you communicate and what you say, and recognising signals. If you recognise, okay, I've said something and that didn't land that well, and you can see a bit of hesitation from someone, and trying to spin that and recognise those cues as you're going is the most important piece of advice for negotiation, in my opinion. I don't play hardball. I'm like very nice. I'm their bestie because I think that works. That's worked really, really well for me. And making sure you're adapting to the person all of the time.
And are you, most of your negotiating, is that over email? Is that on Slack messages? Is that video calls? How are you?
So affiliates is like so varied. So I have a huge array of partners that I talk with through email all the time. I have regular calls with them. Some of the most important and valuable negotiation that happens face to face. So we attend a lot of events, so affiliate based events where we're seeing new partners, old partners, existing partners, and that's typically where the best negotiation happens, when you're going to get the most out of people when they're relaxed. And affiliate events are so fun, like they're so different to any other digital marketing event there is. Like everyone is just, our biggest event is actually at Dreamland. It runs at Dreamland every year. So last year we had networking on the Ferris wheel, so you just got partnered with someone on the Ferris wheel and you went around for 5 minutes and had a negotiation. So
and that's called work.
That's called work, and that's why I love affiliates, because it is actually really fun. Like
it does sound so much fun. I want an invite. I love it. Have there been any tricky moments where you've thought, I don't know if this is for me, it's hard?
Of course, yeah, especially because you don't have like as much direct impact in terms of, if you will use Groupon as an example. I don't know if what their website analytics looks like. Like I don't know what they're very reliant on SEO and where they place for like airport parking discounts or holiday insurance discounts. Like our performance is directly impacted by that performance, and so that's really tricky because sometimes you just feel like you don't have that much control. Like sometimes you just have to kind of admit defeat and be like, this isn't outside of our control. We're doing everything we can. We can't throw money at it and just hope for the best. It's got to be like really considered and taking into external factors into it as well. Not, and I think that's one skill that's been really good to develop, is looking at it externally, like zooming out a bit and thinking, okay, what's actually happening here is more than just what I'm doing or what I have control over. But again, that's been a really difficult thing to adjust to, coming from SEO and PPC, where you have so much control.
I suppose it's similar though to how Google can go and do an algorithm update, and suddenly what you thought was good and working, suddenly you're like, it doesn't work anymore.
Exactly. Exactly.
So is AI disrupting the affiliate space?
It is and it isn't. I think like from an AI overview perspective, like definitely, we're not seeing as much traffic come through. So we see a lot of shift towards like more your employee benefits, or things like brand to brand partnerships, where we might have a rewards platform that sits on a website like JD Sports, for example, and will feature in their rewards for their customers. So we're seeing much more from like a retention piece, more so than just that like upper funnel search result, like from the voucher partners and that kind of thing, who heavily rely on SEO performance. And actually I think where I see affiliates benefiting most from AI is operationally, because it is still such a manual channel. Like there's a lot of manual work with affiliate marketing. So helping sort of streamline that. So disrupting in a good way. For the most part. Yeah.
And are you using AI to search?
I kind of try not to, because it lies all the time.
And
like our teachers always tell us, like, don't use it for research, because it like will feed you the wrong information, especially when it comes to like things you need in your exam. It will just tell you the wrong thing, and then kids write it in their exam and then they lose marks because they didn't look at like the official exam website or whatever. But then our teachers do kind of encourage us to use it, but like it really depends on what for. Like obviously don't write your essay with it, but maybe get it to mark your essay instead, because it's just you finding the right way to use it rather than using it all the time. That
is smart. And the thing is, I think it's getting a bit better at not lying. I don't know if you'd agree. I feel like sometimes, I think it comes back down to the prompt and trying to be really tight on what they can source and making sure they source it. Because if it's sourced, you can then go and click through and go, yeah, it's not a lie, this is true, you're giving me the real info. And if
it's a tool, not a solution, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, you use it to make your life a little easier, to make your time use more efficient, and to quickly gather data that you need. We use it to gather. So if we're negotiating a new partner, it can go and research in 20 seconds, like, how big this partner is, how many users it has, like, who are the most important people in that company that we need to be in front of. Like, it can go and source all of that information that would take us half a day. So using it strategically and not relying on it as a solution to your everyday, I think is really important.
Yeah, I've seen it been talked about as like using it to do the things that humans don't have to do or should do, like, so it can do the boring things while humans can go and do the more like exciting creative things.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. We like being exciting and creative.
Yeah.
And you spoke a bit to the difference between agency and in-house. Is there anything, because I guess, again, thinking of a student audience listening to this might not really understand the difference. So I guess it would be good to just kind of unpack that a little bit as to how that works and how that's different if they were looking for jobs, what to look out for.
Yeah, so agency is when you have a company that will go out and essentially consult for a particular service. So take PPC and SEO, for example, where they'll manage usually the strategy and the delivery of a particular channel. So, for example, SEO and PPC on behalf of the company. They're not employed by that company. They're like a nice addition to the company. And in-house is you do it all yourself. So there's an employee that works in-house that manages that channel, that performance especially. But, sometimes agencies will be there to support SEO and PPC teams that are in-house as well. They can be kind of an addition to.
Yeah.
And then agency, if you're looking at working in digital, definitely start in agency. It's so much fun. You learn
It's a good way
so
to
much.
learn, isn't it? Yeah.
Really is. And, they take, like me, if I didn't have someone take a chance on me getting into that industry, I would absolutely not be where I am now. And there's no way an in-house business would have taken me on with no experience in SEO and PPC. So it really helps build the next community of digital marketers, for sure.
I'd love to be a fly on that wall of the interview with Masoodin, looking at you going, tell me what SEO and PPC is. I know Masoodin well. He's incredible. And
He is.
He would have been like, oh, she's squirming a bit, trying to answer it.
Yeah, he would have known.
But
he can see through us all.
But then it comes down to maybe some tips around what's good for prepping for an interview, because you kind of want to come across authentic and real, but you are going to be trying to answer things that you don't fully know, especially when you're super young and it's your first job or so.
Yeah, that's it. And I think not just being like, I don't know, try and work it out and admit that, not admit defeat, maybe that's the wrong word, but admit that knowledge gap. This is my understanding of this. Yeah. But obviously I'm so new to being honest, and people really love authenticity. Don't try and hide behind smoke and mirrors that you know everything. The best managers, the best leaders that I've ever worked with, they don't know everything. Nobody knows everything, and that's okay. And it's okay to admit that you don't know everything. And in interviews, being confidently unsure, I think is really important.
But having done enough research that it looks like you have actually prepped to be here.
You've got to do the research, 100%.
And I think actually that's another place where AI can really help you is, I'm about to go for an interview for this job. Here's the job spec. Here's the company website. Could you give me some easy through to really hard questions they might ask me? And then you can go back and forth with the AI of that really hard one. How would you answer it? Because I don't know how to answer it. And then, okay, that's interesting. And you can kind of practice and start to build a way that you'd be able to prep for the interview without needing to bother mum, dad, aunt, uncle, friend, teacher, whoever. It's actually I can do this on my own using AI. But also equally, people will want to help you.
Yeah, that's it. And using AI to have it communicate in a way that you learn best. I definitely learn best with very short, I need to understand this in 30 seconds. So I don't want loads of detail. Pull out of that job description the top 5 things that will be really good for me to know. Yeah. Because that's how I learn. And I think that's using AI in that way to tailor something to you personally is a great way to use the tools.
Definitely. And just helping helping you feel prepared, helping you kind of bounce backwards and forwards. That I talk to AI quite a lot.
Yeah, same.
Because I find
Have a little
actually
chat.
it's quicker than typing, and so I'll voice note a lot and
Yeah.
ask it to look at what I've said. I'll give it a transcript, or I'll give it the sound bite, and then go backwards and forwards. Like I'm prepping for a talk at the moment, and it's like literally coaching me through. You'd be stronger if you said it this way, and I'm like, great. Whereas actually, sometimes if that was your colleague, you might be a bit like, oh, they didn't think I was any good. But you don't have that emotional attachment to when AI gives you
Yeah.
feedback because it's a machine.
Yeah, and you can tell it like be direct with me. Tell me exactly where
Yeah.
the areas that I can improve here. I use it. I'm learning French, and I
Ooh.
use it to help me with pronunciation because that's my worst part of French. So I get it to tell it back to me in the pronunciation. So like it's great. I use it literally probably too much all the time.
I used it to help with my French speaking exam.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Look
I
at
got it
this.
to like ask me questions because like the speaking exam is questions on the spot. So I wouldn't talk to it, but it was just coming up with points to talk about like on the spot.
Amazing.
Great. Yeah, that's really cool.
What drove you to learn French?
Oh, it's just I have ADHD and it was like a new hyperfixation for me. Like it was my latest thing that I was like, I want to learn French right now. So I go to lessons every week. And
How
do
long's
it.
this been?
About 6 months now.
Okay, and how good are we at French?
Level 2. No, I think it's just doing it in real time I'm just not in France enough, really.
Yeah.
That's my excuse.
Yeah.
It is hard. It's hard when you're not in it all the time. Like, you know, nobody in my life speaks French, so I can't talk to anybody in it. So I just talk to
No.
ChatGPT about it instead.
Just a quick note from me. We'd love you to hit the subscribe button. This helps us more than you might realise when it comes to growing this podcast, ensuring we can bring you the best guests possible. Thank you. Back to the episode.
I remember I was trying to learn Spanish, this was years ago, and I ended up, and this shows how old I am because I'm about to use a phrase that some people might not even know what it is. I ended up buying some DVDs of Friends, the TV series, in Spanish so I could try watching it because I was like, I need to immerse myself in this
Yeah.
language more. I got really bored
That's
of it really
actual like
quickly.
language learning advice.
Yeah, it
I mean,
is.
my
good, isn't
teachers
it?
told us like we're doing language GCSE, like go and watch like kids TV, like go watch Peppa Pig in French because you know what's going on, but like because you know what's going on, you listen to the words more,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it just helps with that.
Yeah.
old
I found
Peppa
listening
Pig.
to songs as well, like French
Yeah.
songs
Yeah.
really helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the French music scene like at the moment?
And they're like a lot of rap.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I feel like so many countries default to American and British
Yeah.
singers that so much the good stuff is in English, but I'm sure there must be good
Yeah,
stuff.
and some are like Chris. I don't know if you know Christine and the Queens.
Yeah.
She is French and she does French versions of her songs. So if
Right.
you've got an artist that you love
Yeah.
that is from a different country, you like Shakira. She does it in Spanish, like all of her
Nice.
songs in Spanish. So you recognise the song, but
Love
you're kind
it.
of picking it up in their language as
Yeah.
well.
It's good,
helpful.
it's good. And you mentioned ADHD. How long have you known that you've had ADHD? Is that a recent thing?
Yeah,
or-
in my adult life,
Yeah.
figured it out.
And
yeah.
has that helped that you know that in how you work or?
Yeah, for sure, because, you know, a 9 to 5 at your desk the entire time just does not work for me. Like, I need variety and movement and stuff to, like, really help me focus. And, you know, having flexibility to, like, okay, I'm having a bad hour, I need to just step away from this and coming back online a bit later if that works for me. And also, like, just accepting that I will have these flurries of hyperfixations like French, like that is really normal for me, and that's great. Like, it's great, and just like leaning into it, you
Yeah.
know, because one of these days one will stick. No, I'm like, a lot of them stick. It's just you know, that it's amazing to want to like learn so much about things, and
Yeah.
it's great.
I love that. No, it's really good. It's interesting how many people are getting diagnosed later in life.
Yeah.
And actually how many more young people will be being diagnosed
Yeah.
because we're so much more aware of it. But I
Yeah.
do see it as just a superpower of understanding your brain more. It's like, actually, how
Absolutely.
can I help myself to be better at what I'm trying to do?
Yeah, like stop fighting what is very natural to
Yeah.
your brain. And I think as women as well, it's it presents so differently. And a lot of women who were like loud and, you know, a bit disruptive in class like me, we, you know, that's what we were labelled as, but it was just this like inability to sort of really be able to focus in the same way as other children. So learning, I think it's amazing, like the amount of knowledge everyone is getting about how it presents in different people at different ages.
Definitely.
Would you say like your work is like very accepting of it and is like acknowledges the fact that like you would need to like take more breaks and that your work does come in flurries?
Yeah, absolutely, and being very honest about it, like that this is something that I deal with. It's just sort of how my brain is wired. Like the business is really, really flexible to that. Like for as an example, we go through, you know, a yearly pay review and performance review, and my development, I can't just accept that, you know, you just need to do a bit more, you need to go kind of above and beyond of what you're doing. I need to know exactly what that means. I need you to tell me what that means in order for me to deliver that. And of course there's always going to be elements that like has to come from yourself and self-development and kind of self-observation of like where the gaps are. But largely speaking, if I don't know the direction, I will just go off in a million directions and none of it will come together. So give me the top 5 focus areas and that's where I can focus my attention. And, you know, and then a week later I had a document back with all of that stuff that is required of me to hit those next goals. And so and that wouldn't have happened unless I explicitly said, I need this. And I think it's important to take that responsibility on yourself as well, to give that feedback. And like, you know, managers need to open that space for you, but everyone works differently and you need to feel empowered to do it, but you need to empower yourself as well.
Definitely. And I think you could come up against a manager that might not understand it and have worked with someone that is that aware.
Yeah.
But you can also manage upwards and take them on a journey of, look, please just bear with me here.
Yeah.
If you can help me to understand these things, you're going to see a difference in my performance.
Exactly.
And let's go on that journey together and I'll show you how it works, kind of thing. And then actually they'll probably go, well, there's no skin off my nose if I help you because we're going to get better results from it.
Yeah.
So it is that, again, feeling like you can take control, be able to look after yourself and know what's best for you.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's,
100%.
No, it's really good. Any other questions, Daisy?
I saw on your like intro sheet you went to like 20 countries in 1 year. So what was your favourite?
My favourite?
Yeah.
That is the hardest question to ask someone with ADHD ever.
I was like top 3 then.
Top 3.
Yeah.
That year was crazy. I did that with a full-time job.
How did you do that?
Well, again, ADHD hyperfixation. I'm resourceful. I'll get it done. I was a travel agent but I wanted to travel as much as I could. I had no money, so I couldn't just quit my job and go off travelling for 6 months. But I just had 2 best friends who would just let me take their money and book random flights. So I would take my annual leave on like a Saturday, Sunday, not annual leave, my 2 days off a week at TUI as a travel agent on a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We'd fly somewhere on the Saturday. I'd work Monday to Friday, fly somewhere on the Saturday morning, fly home on the Tuesday evening and do it again 2 weeks later. And I just used my days off as travel days throughout the year. And obviously my general annual leave on top of that, because I wanted to travel and I was a travel agent. I could find great deals. Like, so, you know, that's what I was doing. But yeah, my top 3, I went island hopping in the Caribbean. That was really fun. Me and my bestie were like 22. We just had the best time. And because I was looking for cheap flights all the time, and to be honest, I would just Google like where's the cheapest beers in Europe to find like the cheapest destinations. So we went to a lot of Eastern European countries, which was amazing. They were the most beautiful cities I've ever been to. So I'd say Krakow in Poland was up there. And then I went to, where did I go? To Lake Garda that year as well. So a bit of everything. We had the Caribbean cities, like Poland was just amazing. And then the lakes in Italy, you can't beat it really.
That's good.
3 very beautiful places. Yeah. Have you done much travelling?
Not really, no.
To come, though.
Yeah, I've done a bit, but not like travelling, more just like holidays.
Yeah.
I've been to America. Sorry?
You got anywhere on your list?
I really want to go to, well, my family's like planning a Japan trip.
I'm going to Japan this year.
I'm going next year, I think.
Oh, yay!
So,
fun.
yeah.
So I've not done Japan, but I've heard the toilets are wonderful.
Yeah, they got the
You
cool
get the
seats.
funky toilets
Yeah.
where you can like warm it up. I mean, I don't know why
Yeah.
you need it warmed up. Like, but you've got all the buttons. We've got the teamer cracking up in here now. But do you know, it's the first thing I think of. Probably because I know some of them went to Japan and it's all they talked
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
afterwards. So to me, it's Japan and toilets. But
Yeah.
I mean, but that's probably not what the tourist board are looking for as their reputation.
But a lot of people talk about the Japanese toilets, so
There
maybe
you go, there
maybe
you
it
go.
works.
Maybe it does.
Were you
maybe
going
it
to
does.
do Tokyo?
Yeah, probably like a bit of everything.
Bit of everything.
It'd be a big holiday,
Big
and probably
holiday.
like Tokyo Disney as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm my partner hates roller coasters, but I love roller coasters. So
Me
he's coming
too.
to Disney. Sorry.
The Disney roller coasters are fine. They're not
Aren't
too
they?
bad.
They're like literally like kids
Yeah.
rides.
Yeah.
Like I've been to Florida and they're fine.
Yeah, I've done Florida, I've done Paris as well, and I just find them like if you go to Thorpe Park and you can get on at least one, you can go on all of them at Disney. They're
Oh,
not,
yeah.
nowhere near are they?
And the theming's good.
So
if you don't like the
yeah.
rides, you can appreciate the theming.
Just being immersed in
Yeah.
the Disney
Yeah.
experience, and I've heard the Japanese ones are like the best in the world.
Yeah, they look amazing.
insane.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I'm
exciting.
jealous now, you two, with your Japan trips.
I know.
Very nice.
Coming around quickly.
Yeah, when do you go?
October.
Oh,
Yeah,
lovely.
I had a big birthday this year, so it was for my big birthday trip.
Oh, I've got a big birthday in 2 weeks.
Have
I think mine's
you?
bigger than yours probably as well.
I've got a big birthday in October.
We also
Oh,
do a lot less
we're
than
all
our-
big birthdays.
Yeah,
All big
fun.
birthdays. But you have to celebrate them.
Yes.
You have to.
100%, yeah, you do.
It's very good. Oh, amazing. Is there anything else that you need to ask Daisy that's going to help you?
No, I think I've gone through everything.
Good. Is there anything you feel you haven't told us that you're like, if I was sitting here as a 16-year-old right now, I would want to know this?
Just like take the leap and like, even if you're not sure on the route, like I didn't want to be a travel agent, but I took the job because I knew that's what I needed to do in that time, and it's got me so far in my career so far. It's just, don't wait around for the perfect opportunity. Just take the opportunities as they come and take your time as well. You know, don't rush into anything. You've literally got so much time. Yeah, it's kind of opposite, but yeah, take your time, but just take the opportunities when they come to you,
Yeah.
because you just don't know where it's going to lead.
Yeah. And I think they complement each other, don't they? Because
Yeah.
it is, you don't need to panic that it's got to be the perfect thing.
Exactly.
But just go with the flow.
I think it's tricky because school tell you that everything has to happen so quick. It's like you finish your GCSEs, then you start your A-levels, and then as you're doing your A-levels, you're applying to uni and doing all this, and then you get
Yeah.
your results and you go to uni. Everything, like, all your changes happen within, like, 4 years.
Yeah.
But, like, in reality, like, it's not that quick.
Yeah.
No.
But school make it seem like you have to have everything planned out and know what you're doing from the moment you, like, start your GCSEs. It's crazy.
And I think the difficulty is that the people at school, the students and the school are slightly at odds, because the school wants the grades and wants the Russell Group
submissions.
University applications and acceptances and whatnot, because that's what helps get their funding and make them look like a brilliant school. And obviously from a student point of view, you want to go live your life and make the right decisions that are going to help
Yeah.
you in the future. But there's so many stories of people that go and do uni in their 30s or 40s because
Yeah.
they've suddenly been inspired that there's something that I think I know my thing now. And
Yeah, that's it. My mum, she's a COO, so she's C-suite, and she dropped out of school at 16. She didn't go to university. She literally started at the very, 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 very bottom, and she is doing her master's now, and she's 60 this year. She
Love
did it
that.
all backwards, and so it's like it's never too late to pick something up, and you know, you don't, because when you're on that train of rushing, it's very difficult to get off it. So just taking your time, and you have time. You can go and work in Tesco's for a year and go and travel the world if that's what you want to do first. Just try not to buy into that pressure of those targets that schools have.
That's just
Definitely.
like my English teacher. She like had her kids and then she didn't even do her A-levels until she had kids. And then she
Yeah.
went to uni and now she's like a doctor of English.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
And I'd like admire her so much for that, for like going through sixth form and university with kids. I struggled doing sixth form as like a child. So, and she did it with kids, like supporting a family and everything. I couldn't.
yeah.
it's amazing.
And
So
now-
are you going to go to uni?
Mhm.
You are? Are you going to take a
Yes.
break first, or you just jump in?
Probably
and-
just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever feels right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then just doing it because I quite like the school like thing. It's kind of like nerdy, but I quite like going to school
I love
and like
that.
just my routine and whatever.
Some
So
people
Yeah.
are professional students for 15 years.
Yeah.
that won't be me, but
Love it. And you should tell that teacher that she's inspiring. 'cause
she's the
it's,
best. Yeah.
That's brilliant that you feel that way. And sometimes people like that need that little pick me up to go,
Yeah.
oh, someone in
Yeah.
my class realises. It's good. Love it. What a fun conversation. Thank you both so much. Beth, you've been a wonderful guest. Thank you so much for sharing such wonderful stories and your background with us. And Daisy, thank you so
Thank
much for being a
you.
wonderful co-host. I hope you'll come back and join us again
Maybe,
soon.
yeah.
And thank you to you, the wonderful audience, for joining us on this episode. And we look forward to seeing you on another episode of Behind the Future. That concludes another brilliant episode of Behind the Future. Thank you so much for listening. You can listen back to other episodes on YouTube or your podcast platform of choice. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, as that will help us to grow this podcast, ensuring we can get the best guests on here for you to learn from. You can also follow us on socials, linked in the show notes for exclusive content. See you on the next episode.